Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our How to Spend £20 million transfer series. Now, what we have been doing through pre-season is we are looking at who are realistic transfers for Sheffield United within our £20 million transfer budget. We're going through position by position. You may have already seen goalkeepers, defenders, and defensive midfielders. And today we finish off the midfielders section by looking at more attacking midfielders. Last time we looked at the positions for John Fleck and Ollie Norwood. And today we are looking at those positions where we've currently got Sander Berge and 𝗟𝗟𝗄𝗃. So let's get straight into it. So when we're looking at attacking midfielders, as I've said, we're quite strong in this position. You know, we've got Sander Berge, who does a really good job of pushing forward and trying to get us on the front foot. He's fantastic at getting his head down and running through players. I think once he gets momentum going, he's really, really hard to stop. Whereas 𝗟𝗟𝗄𝗃 is a very different style of player. He gets the ball under control and uses his skill and footwork to be able to beat a man. He's also quite physically strong and good at holding other players off and just sort of using his body positioning to make sure that he's not easily knocked off the ball. And 𝗏 obviously is more of a goal threat. We saw that last season with his 15 goals combined with 10 assists, whereas Sander Berge does still do a bit more of that supporting role where he uses his driving runs to try and create chances and opportunities for other players, and generally speaking, does a pretty good job. So what would we be looking for? Why would we be looking for players in this position? Well, I think on promotion to the Premier League, you're always looking at where can you improve or where can you even just add extra depth to bring players into the team. I don't believe this is going to be a priority area for Sheffield United, but I still think there are some interesting options out there for us to look at. And with that in mind, we'll start with who I think is the first option that we will be looking at. And we have seen this rumoured a little bit already with journalists and on Twitter, and that is Ryan Kent of Rangers Football Club. Now, Ryan Kent is an interesting player. He's not got the physical attributes of Sander Berge, albeit that Sander doesn't exactly use those physical attributes to his best all the time. But what he is really good at is getting himself on the ball and dribbling beyond players. He generally does play out on the left-hand side. So what I would expect from him if he came into this United team is that he would play centrally, but he would probably move into the half spaces over on the left-hand side. He tried to create the overloads working with the left wing-back, potentially working with the central midfielder or left centre-back coming up behind him. And we'd really be trying to create a system where he can get free on the ball to deliver crosses into the box, because that's his real skill, is creating chances for other players. He got 3 goals and 8 assists last season. I believe he got 7 assists the season before, and that's really what we want to pull out of him, that creativeness. And we really need that in the squad if we're going to be creating and scoring a lot of goals, because behind 𝗟𝗟𝗄𝗃 and Sander Berge, I do think we have got just a little bit of a lack of players who can create something from nothing, or who are able to get past a man, put a ball in the box, and just give us the opportunity to cause a little bit of chaos. So I think this one would be a really sensible move. He's also very good at delivery on set pieces. Now, this is something United did really well in the Championship last season, where we were putting good balls into the box and creating chances. But with the departure of Tommy Doyle, we have lost some of our ability to put in those really strong set pieces. And Ryan Kent would be a fantastic option to come into the squad and give us that dead ball accuracy that we want, which is really going to allow us to find opportunities to hurt teams. And that's where we're going to want to maximise our efficiency in creating chances from set pieces. So to me, he's a free transfer. He might command fairly big wages, and he is in demand across the Premier League. I know Everton are another team who have been rumoured. So it may be that this is a fairly expensive free transfer, but given the lack of a transfer fee, there's every chance that we would be able to pull this off if he's willing to come and play every week for a team potentially in a relegation battle. But for me, this one's a no-brainer. If we can get him in and get this transfer over the line, it's one that would very much make me excited. In terms of other options though, and as you know with these videos, we like to give you a higher cost option and a lower cost option. Our higher cost option for this one would potentially be Fabio Carvalho of Liverpool. Now, it has been announced in a lot of press conferences and a lot of discussion from Liverpool sources that Fabio Carvalho is available for a loan transfer this summer. He has been looking at moves potentially abroad, but I believe those teams are trying to get future fees included, and that's something that Liverpool aren't looking at. So getting him game time, constantly in the Premier League feels like a real asset, and Sheffield United can offer him that. Now, I think this one as a loan deal would be an expensive loan. I think it would incur a loan fee. I think we would have to pay a significant amount of his reportedly high wages, and so it's one that's quite difficult to get off the ground, particularly when we've already got players capable of playing his position. But I think it's undoubted that he is a step up. He is a fantastic player. We've seen that in his appearances for Liverpool. We saw that in the Championship when he was the best player in the division with Fulham only 2 years ago. And so it's really exciting to hear us being linked with players of this standard, of this ability. And he's another one. If we get him in the club, he will get us as fans off our feet, and he will really be a potential difference maker in keeping us in the Premier League. So that's one that I think is quite unlikely. I think there will be other suitors where he is more likely to join. But just the fact that we've potentially even been mentioned as thinking about a loan move for him shows that it could be a really exciting summer if we can find the money to bring in loan players such as this one. And our lower cost option for this one is one who we have seen rumoured, both in the press and on Twitter a little bit, and that is 𝗂𝗍𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂 spending transfer fees in this position, as we said at the start, because we've already got players there. So I'm not prioritising looking at players who I think would be available for 4 million, for 5 million. I think we're going to be looking at young players who are capable of making an impact and will come to the club on loan. And 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂 massively fits that bill. Now, he came through the academy at Aston Villa before a big money transfer fee took him to Chelsea last summer. He's not had the impact he would have wanted at Chelsea, but then again, can anybody have a significant impact at Chelsea when they've got that many players that all play the same position? No, they probably can't. But what 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂 has done, he's had a fantastic impact when he's been playing for the England under-21s. He's been part of a really successful team there, and he has really demonstrated what he has to offer to a club potentially playing at the lower end of the Premier League. He's big and he's physical, and he can have a real impact in terms of helping United win some of those physical battles. But he's also a fantastic dribbler. He's great when he's got the ball at his feet. He can beat a man. He can use sort of like an artist, the way that he can take it around players at that younger age level. And I think his eye for a goal will really translate well to the Premier League. Is he as exciting as the others? No, I don't think he is, because obviously he's not got the name value and the name recognition, but he's still an exciting option, and he may be able to have a significant impact in the same way that James McAtee did last season, coming in and scoring big goals in big moments when we need him to. And I would love to see us taking a chance on a player like this, because in this position, that's what we need. Somebody who's able to be in support, someone who can come on off the bench, who's not expecting to be a starter week in, week out, but can still do what we need them to do in making an impact to keepers in the Premier League. So in terms of attacking midfielders, that's where I think the most likely options lie. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments if you think that we don't going to sign any players in this position, because it's a waste of time. We've got 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂, we've got 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂, we don't need them. Let me know if you in fact think there's better options. There's somebody else who I've completely overlooked who you think would be a good option for Sheffield United. And if you like the video, please give us a like, because it's much appreciated and it lets us know that you do appreciate the work that we are doing. Thank you very much for joining me for another of our transfer series, and let's hope the summer can get a little bit exciting and we can get some of those transfers through the door in the not too distant future.